Hey folks, Jonathan here. I've got an old, really early marine engine, reversible, and I'm going to show you some pictures of it here real quick, as it was found in a barn in New York. Okay, as you can see, pretty rough shape, and I've already replaced all these uprights. I actually used some 304 stainless, and you know, I just got them back on there temporary. Might paint them, might clean them up, I don't know, polish them up, who knows. Can's there for a size. You can see the cylinder is about the size of a can. Some really busted spots on it, as you can see in the pictures. Getting ready to machine that and fix it. Missing the steam chest, missing the valve, missing the cover. Was missing the head. The guy I got it from had already made a head. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. It's just a steel. It's not cast or anything. I may cast some bronze parts for this. May not, but we're going to go ahead and knock out this cylinder and get this taken care of. I've really studied hard on this about how to go about fixing it. Thought about making a full plate. We got some ports in there. One port here. We got these ports here that come down and come out of the inside of the cylinder. So we've got to be careful there. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to machine off everything from here over, and we're going to bolt a piece in this way. We can go with maybe an inch thick piece or something, and then let it protrude, and then we'll remachine the surface. This side the same way, except we're going to bring it up this way, thin it out, and then bring it back down. So it's about easier to do it than to tell you how I'm going to do it. So we'll go ahead and get started on doing it. Everything else on this engine is pretty good. It had a lot of course you couldn't see them because of the they were so dirty, but there's a whole lot of pieces that were actually brass. And the guy I got this from had already taken it apart and was going to fix it. And I was actually helping him out when it comes to trying to give some advice on it. And then he just decided that he didn't want to do it. And he actually sold it to me, and I was really appreciative because I wanted to see this engine back together. Really neat engine. I don't think this is a model or a kit. I think this is an original old engine. Be a launch engine, could be a canoe engine, maybe, you know, something a little bigger than a canoe. This would power, you know, a 12-14 foot boat pretty easy, believe it or not. But and you know, most of them were like this, you know, reversible setup and all. But who knows? I mean, you never know what the story is on it. But like I said, it was in a barn. You know, according to the pitting on it and the, you know, the way it's made, the design it's made, I mean, I'm guessing 1850s or 60s probably, but you know, I could be wrong. It could be a little later than that. I know by 1865 a lot of the companies were making bolts, were making hex head bolts. They all wasn't square. Everybody thinks that they were all square, but there's a lot of proof in that. If you look at a lot of the pictures from the Civil War, the cannons and stuff, there was a lot of bolts on it that wasn't square bolts. So you know, at least by 1861 through 1865, you know, they was doing a lot of hexagon bolts. So anyway, let me get at it here and see what we can get done. Okay folks, here's what we got for starters. I have machined this side off. Now like I said, this side's got to be done different, but I've machined this side off, and we're going to cut a piece of steel and we're going to bolt it in. And the bad part is where our bolts have to be is toward the outside, and these bolts, they wasn't quite toward the outside. They were down a little bit, so. But the outside corners is where I need to put the bolts at. So anyway, we're going to get that done and get that bolted on, and then we'll, you know, machine everything, get it to the other side, or we'll get it to the other side and do it and then machine it. But the expansion rate between cast iron and steel is different. But I checked it out. I've done a lot of research on this, and I don't think it's going to be any problem because of the equal heat. The differences in expansion I don't think is going to be enough to make a difference, to matter. So that's my plan. We'll see. Just we're trying to take a pile of crap and make something out of it. I mean, basically that's what we're doing, because really in all actuality it'd been nice to recast this piece. You're not going to find a replacement, so, but we're just going to go ahead and fix it. All right folks, here's what we ended up doing. I used stove bolts just because they looked old, and I thought maybe when I put this cover on there that I was going to make it cover these, but it's not going to cover it. So I can either leave them, I can weld these holes up and grind them down, I could JB weld them, you know, when I paint it. You know, I may put a gasket between there. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. But anyway, this is not machined. As you can see, it's probably protrudes, I don't know, 20 thousandths. So I'm going to do the other side the same way. We'll get it all mounted good, and then I'll do the machining. May even run it around here to make it look more straight and even. So this one's just got to be done a little different. It's going to have to be brought up, and then I'm going to bring it down and then down. I don't want to put two separate pieces. I want to tie them together. So we're going to take this down part of the way, and we'll, you know, maybe leave the 1/8 of an inch thickness, and that will tie it all together good. And we'll just keep at it until we get this thing done. I can drill my holes and put them in wherever I want because I'm making my own steam chest for it. So, and we did not get into the ports where we put it in at, so that worked out really well. All right, show you more. Okay folks, here's where we're at on the cylinder. So machined this one, bolted it on, countersank them, and then I welded them. And I welded them to where I knew that this would never move, which, you know, it's around this anyway, so it wouldn't. But I didn't want this side to move, so it's welded also. And I've got some more grinding and stuff to do. I went ahead and surfaced it. You know, this protrudes out because that's where the D-cup goes. I've got to make the D-cup, but first I got to make the piece that goes around it for the steam chest. I'm going to show you on my other engine how this is made and how it goes. Okay, so you can see on this steam chest on this level engine, which is 1887 early engine, this is the steam chest. This is the plate we just repaired on the other engine, and then we've got to make this part, then we've got to make a cover. Now, you know, I can just do all that out of steel, but I may do it out of wood and then cast it out of bronze or brass, or a mixture of bronze and brass together. And so we've got to have a hole with the packing here. Now we can thread that in, that's not a problem, but it's going to go to the top on this one, and then we've got to put the steam pressure to it. So I don't know where it was originally, but maybe in the side of it. It really don't matter because it's going to go in and hold the D-cup valve down to the surface either way you do it. So I mean, we could even do it in the cover if we wanted to, but we'll figure it out. But that's how it's made. You see the 4 bolts. Now this one, the 4 bolts, okay, where I put the bolts to hold these pieces on was down a ways, and these bolts are going to be farther up this way, so I'm making sure that we don't go through and cut our, you know, our new bolts in half. So, but anyway, this is so far what we've got for fixing it. And then this will have a gasket, and then them are machine surfaces. I did not gasket it, did not seal it. Tightened these bolts down really good, and they were 1/4-20 stove bolts. So I got a good big screwdriver and I really put the torque to them, and then I welded them. So I didn't want these moving up or down, and as long as the threads are in here, and then I mean, it should work out really well. Should have no issues with it moving. So we should always keep a good seal around here. And even though I didn't put a gasket, there's enough machine surface there that with steam, even if it leaked a couple times, it will eventually seal itself, whether it be rust or whatever, you know, you're going to get out of it. But that's how that works, and shouldn't be any issue there. So that leaves us with rounding these corners, making our cover. You know, depends on how we make our cover also, and make, you know, the steam chest itself. And then we'll wait and drill drilled all probably at one time together, and that way we can get it lined up right. So there's no reason to be drilling now. And like I said, we may round these off, but if I do, it'll be afterwards. So anyway, I'll show you more on this little project later, and show you a couple other things before I let you go. Gotten a lot of wrecks here lately, but I wanted to show you this one. This is a Hyundai, and as you can see, the engine's missing. It actually hit a tree, the engine threw out, and went about, I'm gonna say 30 feet. I got a video I might be able to get uploaded for you. And the engine rolled down in the woods and caught on fire. And here's the engine. And of course there's the door after they cut it off to get her out. Now she didn't really get hurt too bad. She was here the next day getting her stuff. But yeah, it completely just took the engine out about as quick as you could ever get one out, I guess. And it's a Sorrento. So anyway, she didn't, like I said, didn't get hurt though. That was the good part. I've had some of these happen before, you know, years back, and you know, sometimes you get stuff like that. And got a lot of other just little smaller wrecks, you know, tearing stuff up. And this one here, actually, they done brought me the title for it. So Buick, it's mine. Got a, let me see, Dodge Ram. Now this was actually a friend of mine's truck, and he done everything he could to miss the vehicle that he hit, and I'd gotten it too. And let me see, I think they've already picked it up. So we got a van, we got both vehicles here. This is what the Buick hit that I ended up with. We've got a Encore Buick, it's been rear-ended, and we got a 392 Hemi Scat Pack car that has been tore all to crap. Now, airbags out. It actually still runs. You can see it's got a bunch of dents on it. It was painted white, originally white. I think maybe somebody bought this thing wrecked because the body lines are terrible, and just fixed it and put it on the road. So this person actually hit a motorcycle and then ran, and then the following day the guy's buddies that was riding a motorcycle seen the guy and chased him or tried to get him to stay or something, but he took off and wrecked. And after he wrecked, he ran in the woods and then never caught him. So I've done my first paperwork on this thing, which is the report of unclaimed motor vehicle, and it comes back as an owner with no liens. So really good chance that we'll be able to buy this one and or end up with it. So we'll see what happens on that. Oh yeah, I did get the four-door rollback back up and rolling. I'll show you the pump on it real quick. I had an oil leak that I had to fix, and this is still oily because I haven't drove the truck since I fixed the leak. And it was actually a fitting on the oil filter housing, so that's taken care of, but that's why this looks oily. Anyway, here's our pump. And I didn't shorten the hoses or anything, I just rerouted them and made the plate and bolted it on and got, you know, our drive shaft into our PTO and everything. So it all worked out really well, and no vibrations. Really impressed with it. These pumps, this is a pretty new line of pumps that they've got at Surplus Center, and the price I think is very reasonable. And I think this pump was about $300. And this is 16 gallon per minute, and I wanted something that was going to run it without having to idle the truck up real fast. You know, there's plenty of power, you know, at idle, even with, you know, one of these engines. But the problem is you know, you see people revving them real high just to be able to make them work at a decent speed. And you know, if you run enough gallons per minute, you don't have to do that. And anyway, that's that. It's a mounted 1/2 inch plate, angler iron bolted in, got a support bracket on the other side, so no problem there. But so took it on its first rotation call, and the car just happened to be on top of a stump, and I broke the cable twice. I did get the car out, but I broke the cable trying to get it out. Had a heck of a time. Couldn't get back down into the car to be able to pick up on it, and winching against a stump that you don't know it's there at first until after you start tearing a little bit of stuff up, and then you realize it. So then you do what you have to do to get it. But anyway, that's it. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.